between the time when the oceans drank Atlantis and the rise of the sons of Arius, there was an age undreamed of. And unto this, Conan, destined to bear the jeweled crown of Aquilonia upon a troubled brow. It is I, his chronicler, who alone can tell thee of his saga. Let me tell you of the days of high adventure.
Okay, this is, I believe, chapter 13, 12, something like that. And we are back from a little bit of a break. So I'm going to do a small recap here of the last couple things that you did. You found that Hanwell had been taking potentially some jobs outside of the city. And you followed him to a ruin that is called Mefz, which is a bit north of Shushan. You went there to investigate it, found Hanwell with some old woman, and about the time you began to speak with him to find out what was going on, a small force began to try to besiege the city, or the ruins, I'm sorry. You fought off your attackers, one of those being the crocodile, who was killed from behind by Haroon. Haroon was badly injured, cut in the leg by several men as he was climbing the walls of the ruin. Otherwise, you're in pretty good shape, I believe. So the ruin itself is completely on fire behind you. You've taken prisoners, particularly the one that seems that is the leader. Let me switch you over there.
Yeah, I believe Haroon is basically unconscious at this point, isn't he?
We can say you're conscious enough to move around and interact, but not do much else. Currently, Vidal is roughly tied and being manhandled by Varus. These 4 dogs have been basically tied to a makeshift hitching post of sorts over here to kind of get them out of the way. And this guy just stands there. Everyone else is deceased. You guys can feel free to get us started. Vidal currently has no nose, too. He's badly
It's just
injured.
this guy left.
Mm-hmm. Everybody else is either dead or fled.
Okay. I mean,
Kagan has no skill in healing whatsoever, but he will see the Haroon standing there and offer support with his shoulder.
Yeah, he leans quite heavily on it. He's in clearly bad shape. He's not really delirious, but he's quite out of it from the looks of it. Kind of holding his head, and he's still bleeding a hell of a lot as well.
Focus on the sounds of the flames crackling behind you. Imagine they're right on your arse.
I suppose they almost are, aren't they?
Stay with me, brother.
And everyone else. They are fair enough, yes?
Appears so.
Yeah. He tries looking around amongst the smoke, I imagine, which is probably...
Yep.
Look to Varus, Melech, and he's like, what of these awful heal? Do we barter and leave?
no, we just leave.
Vidal kind of looks over his shoulder, his face terrible bloody mess, says, I'm an Emir of the Khan. Let me go and this may be forgiven.
Or let you go and it maybe not. No, I think we'll carry you for a while.
I do not believe him. It would take one word of our names to get to the Khan, and we would all be done for.
And with the fire burning behind him, Melech finishes cleaning the blood off of his sword, and he slowly starts sheathing his sword as he starts walking towards Vidal. And he puts his sword back in its sheath and walks up to Vidal. He just punches him square in the face where his nose used to be.
You punch him without any sort of... he has no possibility to try to evade. His face just kind of squishes between your fingers as blood kind of erupts everywhere, and he just kind of Vidal just kind of falls back and passes out from the pain.
He would be much easier now to take care of without his incessant talking. Emir of the Khan. He is a dog. We shall carry him on a leash like a dog. And well, were they coming for you, or were they coming for us? What is going on here?
Hanwell shrugs and says, I believe in neither. If I had to guess, it was Anada here. He nods to Anada. She knows of a way into the city. A secret way. One that would give us access to the Khan.
Melech walks us over and looks at Anada, looks down at her. Well, seeing as you still have your life today, I think you owe us some information.
Kagan will try to lead Haroon back to Hanwell and try to defer him off to Hanwell, basically like, here, take his shoulder.
Yeah, Hanwell
Yeah, he's
does.
gonna come along with you.
And he'll, like, unceremoniously, like, drag the crocodile's body out away from the flame and then take his battle axe out and take his head off.
Okay. You
Perhaps we
begin
should
to...
have this conversation somewhere else. Just looking over at the guy who's still here with us.
Yeah, he's just kind of standing there. You can let me go. I won't say anything. I'm just a paid hand, hired hand, dog handler. Can take my pups and go.
Well, Haroon kind of struggles up a bit on Hanwell more. Anada, was it? You know this way. Would you tell it to us?
I will tell it to Hanwell as he has asked, she says. Kind of as she's speaking, she looks like she's about to say more, and then you hear and see riders in the distance coming towards this massive fire, kicking up dusk as they ride in your direction.
Oh, shit.
Interesting. Yeah, Harun is in no shape for it, but he does have a dagger, on his belt as always, and everywhere else hidden amongst him.
Why don't you guys, Melech particularly, why don't you give me a, let's see, a lore roll? Everybody can do it. Melech, you're going to get a dice for free, an extra die for free. Oh, let me make sure your momentum and doom are correct.
Yay, a mental roll. I don't have -4 to it.
Are we starting with fortune points, or?
You should have 2.
Okay. Really? 'Cause I know you can voluntarily fail on a check, but there's usually only there's consequences. I just don't want to cause complications.
Yeah.
It looks
You
like
call out
you
the wrong person's name. Like, hey. I don't know.
Well, Kagan's dumb 6 intelligence ass actually might know.
Well, yeah, it'll get you.
Yeah, he's basically
I don't
just
think
cut off.
Harun is any better.
Yeah, Kagan's always thinking ahead. He's cut the crocodile's head off and starts wrapping it up. If anything, maybe he can get a bounty on it. They were looking for the beast after all.
And with the, dust kind of being kicked up by horses, Melech is looking off in the distance to try and figure out who it is coming, if we're in trouble or not, whether we should be running or not.
Yeah.
And as they appear to get closer, Melech starts walking forward towards the group as they're coming to him, or coming to us. And he doesn't say a word to anyone, and he just starts walking to them.
Melech, you recognize the lead rider as Elska. He was another captain in your guard when the fall to Shushan happened. Same position as you and Dardis had, essentially, just another one within the city. He pulls up his horse as he grows close and kind of looks down and looks at you, kind of surprised in his face as he looks upon you. He just kind of sits there for a moment.
And Melech, his shoulders that were tense and kind of tighten up, you can see him obviously relax his shoulders, and he takes a large sigh of relief, and he puts his head down and he starts nodding it up and down. Elska, I cannot believe it's you.
Yes, brother. You could say the same. And he kind of looks and he sees Vidal unconscious. Is that Vidal, the criminal?
One of the dogs. One of the very ones.
No,
We've kept him alive to this point.
He kind of turns and looks. And where are the rest of these people?
These are the men who I have fallen in with. We worked together. We had a job together, protecting a caravan, a merchant's caravan. I believe they have since moved on. It has been many days that have passed since our city has fallen. I have taken work where I could find it. And these honorable men behind me, they are ones that are working with me and I with them. We find ourselves out here today. Because that woman there, and he points to Anada, she has information that might be useful to us.
Is that fact? He kind of looks over at her and says, well, my brother, I believe it will be difficult to get back into the city for you, as we have currently put it under siege. I now follow the old king's cousin, Nader Shah. His armies are now at the gates of Shushan.
When did this happen? We have not been out here for that long.
The day passed, we marched our armies.
And Melech turns and looks to Varys and Kagan and Haroun. Then he looks back to Elska. Well then, yes, you are correct. Getting back into the city might be difficult. But this woman over here, Anada, the information she has, it is exactly that. A way back into the city.
She gives a slight nod as Elska looks at her. He's like, I see. Come, I will take you to Lord Nader Shah's tents, and we will speak more there. And
Haroun
looks over everyone.
Raises up a still bloodied arm and everything.
And if I may, how are the caravans outside of the town? The city?
I know of no caravan.
Hopefully they are away.
He says, anyone that was outside the city, if they defied us, they were put through the sword. Anyone inside are safe for now.
I imagine they would be fine then. Very good.
I do hope your friends are well. As I said, if they were defying us, then yes, they probably were killed, but otherwise they were allowed to go back into the city or come into our camp under guard. Kind of
I
shrugs.
could not imagine Myrta would have fought. There was no purpose in it after all.
Yeah, Kagan's brow furrows heavily. Ultimately responds to Haroun, just like going, she has survived so much already. Art says that she would survive even this.
Indeed, she has more wisdom than most earn in a lifetime. She will be there.
Quick adds a quick addendum of, he goes, the punts, however.
We will see. Yes.
Elska is still on his horse and looks at all you. Can you all ride? Your horses are still hitched up a ways away.
Kagan just half-heartedly grins, his gap-toothed smile, and nods.
We can.
Haroun, kind of flinches a bit as he goes to pull up his leg and
I suppose with a bit of rope I will hold on fine enough.
He kind of looks over to Varys.
I can ride, but my prisoner remains with me, if that's all right.
Very well. He doesn't seem to push that, and he kind of looks down at the other man that is with you, kind of giving him the eye. And you? Can you ride? Oh, He kind of scratches his chin. Yes, I could. He kind of looks over to the rest of the people, seeing if you're gonna give him up or anything.
Yeah, Kagan's gonna go, he is not with us.
Ah. So this serves the enemy, the Khan. Melech, do us all a favor. And he kind of just backs his horse up slightly.
Wait.
Yeah, Melech holds his hand up as well.
This one's a mercenary. He has no allegiance to the enemy.
Elska, brother. He is a mercenary, just like Vada said. He will pledge his allegiance to us and fight with us, especially now that his master city is under siege. We may have use for him and his dogs.
Kind of looks at the dogs. Very well. You're responsible for his conduct.
Melech turns to him. If you so much as look as though you were going to betray us, I will slit your throat.
Oh yes, of course. I would never do anything like that. I do not care who conquers this city. As you say, I'm just a mercenary. Just a mercenary.
You better care. You better care that we conquer their city.
Oh yes, that's what I meant. I don't care about the other side, the Khan. Yes, I don't like him.
Kagan will stride forward adjacent to Vidal, and he'll look at Melech and the guy as they're conversing, and he'll just say, "Go and have him leave his animals here. The fires take them well." He'll look to Vidal and he'll go, "What of this noseless sack of flesh? Is he worth his weight in burden? Coin to one of you, perhaps? If not, let him rot as well."
Haroon actually kind of punches forward alongside and kind of in turn with Henwell.
Perhaps he would be useful to us. A good bargaining chip, if nothing else.
Useful
If brothers are so close as they say.
Useful to Kagan's sister, because we're going to make a pretty penny off him, passing him off to her.
Indeed. I imagine Myrta would be quite happy to come into such a distinguished slave.
We'll see. If not, it'll just be a sack of meat. I don't care about these Emirs.
As much as it pains me to say, my sister's desires are not what's most important right now. He'll look to Elska and he goes, "We appear to be in contested territory. I'd say their demands would outweigh any of the others as an immediate priority."
That's good. Just looks at Kagan. Says, "Bring Vidal along. We will determine what to do with him. If you wish to sell him into slavery, then we will buy his price." Nadar Shah is a reasonable man.
Boris likes that.
Yeah, Haroon smiles widely as well. A little bit of blood drips out from his grin.
Yeah. Besides, Kagan, we'll be leaving this place soon anyway. It's no burden.
As well we should.
Oh.
I find the stench of burning flesh most displeasing.
Yeah, Elska just begins to turn his horse and come, follow me. We have a day's ride. We were following Vidal and his men, and that is how we came here. Do not worry, there is none out here to harm you from the Khan for now. Not while our armies have the city under siege. Then he turns and begins to trot off slowly with his men, expecting that you all follow. There are plenty of horses that you could take from the riders that came here as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the horses that we have, because they probably belong to Myrtha anyway.
Yeah.
I'll
Yes,
help
we kind of...
Haroon.
Go ahead.
I was about to say, I'll help Haroon get up, and if anything, I could hitch his horse to mine and have it canter behind me, carrying
Yeah.
him. That way you could focus more on just holding on.
Yeah, he'd probably ask for a bit of help tying his ankles to the saddle so that he doesn't slip off. His leg is in pretty bad shape.
Melech looks around the field and looks for the obvious war horse Vidal would have rode in on,
Mm-hmm.
being an officer of the Emir, a dog, he would have come in on a steed like that. So Melech looks around for that and grabs it and uses that as his ride.
Okay.
Harun would kind of try and coax Ananda over, or not Ananda over to ask again if she could tell him quietly the way in.
Psst, tell me.
Hey, yeah. You know that way?
She gives you a kind of a bit of a curious look. As I said, I told him well he knows. If he wishes to tell you, then he can. And she kind of very ungracefully gets up on a horse and kind of looks down at it, like thinking, how the hell do I ride this thing? It does take you the better part of a day riding back towards the city before you start seeing signs of this large army. See it is flanking the western part of the wall of Shushan, which is the only place really that is easily accessible to any gates. The east part of the city, oddly, is built against some high sand dunes that seem to ever shift, and rocky outcroppings and such. And there are smaller gates, but nothing that you can move much through. As you kind of circumvent that area, you see smaller parts of Nadir Shah's army. Eventually, when you get to the main host of the army, you see large, colorful pavilions in the middle of men in camp. You see trebuchets and scorpions set up, but currently not firing. You're led to inside the wall of men, and Elska dismounts eventually as you get closer to these pavilions and hands his horse off to a servant and turns back to you and nods particularly towards Melech.
Melech, nods back, looks at Elska, and he's just kind of shaking his head, waiting for, Nadir to approach.
Yeah, Elska, you're outside the tents, and he says, "We'll go to Nadir's tent, if it pleases you. Bring the prisoner."
Yes, brother, of course. Melech nods to Varus, to pull the Emir's dog off the horse and starts making his way to the tent.
As you enter, you pass two guards that are clearly suspicious of anyone walking in, but they let you through as Elska is in front of you. You notice inside that there's all the fineries of one place that would be at home for a rich man. Although Nadir Shah is perhaps an outcast and exile, you don't exactly know all the details. Even Melech doesn't. He knows that this man is probably the nearest relative of the old king that's left alive, however. And he's really not going without his comforts here in his huge pavilion tent. He is currently sitting on a chair looking at a large scroll, which you can kind of tell as he sits it down in his lap. It's a map of the area. "Ah, Elska, brother." He stands up and walks forward and sees the rest of you begin to pile in. Kind of gives him a questioning look, and Elska just says, "This is Melech. He was a commander in the old king's army with me. I found him and these other men who have captured one of Ranvir's dogs, the one called Vidal, the eldest brother.
Melech puts his hand on the hilt of his sword and gives like a little half bow towards Nadir.
Good, good. Allies everywhere. And he looks to the rest of you and says, "Who else may I greet in my tent this day?"
Harun is pretty bloodied and still, I imagine, still kind of hanging on Handwell. And he kind of, with one arm, gives, like, the best, like, almost bow as he kind of can.
Harun, at your service.
He looks to you and gives a nod. And then moves his eyes to the next person.
Kagan will step forward and give a warrior's salute. Pound, hand across the chest and bow towards him. I am Kagan Nazali, the Conan tribes, healed people of the Himalayas.
He gives you a small nod and then looks to Varus next.
Varus Rex, former captain of Acolonia, mercenary.
Are you all serving as mercenaries this day?
Indeed.
Well, there is a war, as you can see, about to be joined. He smiles. As he does, Elska says, "I have heard interesting news from Melech there that this woman knows a way into the city, a secret way." And Nadar Shah kind of like eyebrows like raise. "Is that so?" He looks to her and she says, "Yes, and I've already told Hanwell, and it is up to him if he speaks it." And this lord, his look of curiosity turns to one of very great disappointment. And Hanwell is, and he's kind of looking and kind of looks at the person who didn't give a name. He's like, "What will it take you to give me this information?" And Hanwell just kind of looks at Kagan, kind of, "What do I do?" kind of look.
Kagan will let out an audible sigh and then basically not really mutter, but not very loudly speak in Hyrcanian. And he says, "Do not be foolish, brother."
He responds, "Is this the man we should trust?"
If it gives us insight to a sister, then yes.
Takes a deep breath. Then he nods and says, "Yes, I know a way." And Nadar Shah, smiles.
And it was supposedly Hanwell's taken out with a nada because they're trying to depose the current ruler as well. Is that what it was?
He was working for someone in the city that wanted to do so, who was looking for a secret way in. You're not sure if it's tied to these people or not.
Yeah, it could just be somebody in the same sect trying to depose the ruler and take his place.
Yeah.
Harun kind of, with the two of them very close to him, whispers to them in a way that's not obvious and isn't clear to anyone out of range.
And this may be a good opportunity to ensure that Murta is always welcome in the city, along with the caravan.
Yeah, Kagan's looking at Anada for trying to judge her response to when and if he does give the directions. But he'll add to Hanwell. He says, "We owe no," and once again in Hyrcanian, it says, "We owe no loyalty but blood and kin. Do what is best. Do as you always done. What is best for the tribe."
Takes another deep breath and says, I can tell you and show you where it is as far as I know it. Another, if you could help them, I would appreciate it. She says, if that is what you wish. And he speaks up again, says, it is part of an old aqueduct that was built many years ago. Now serves as some sort of refuse where they roll garbage and filth. And Shah kind of strokes his beard. As well, there are a few things that would be very helpful if you got into the city, like opening the gate. And he kind of smiles. Tell me, is that something that you could do? He's kind of looking at all of you and says, my gratitude would be endless.
Arun smiles. Oh, well, I cannot speak for the others, but I am not in the best condition at the moment. If I were, I would be more in line of removing the opposition.
He looks you over and he waves to a servant. Get my surgeon. And the man runs off.
Arun smiles. My thanks to you, my lord. He said
Haroon?
remove the
No.
opposition.
Oh, I thought you said you would be with the opposition.
No.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
What?
go join your enemy.
No, he implied he would assassinate someone for him.
Yeah.
Oh.
I got it.
Varus is... I had to let that one sit.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
sorry.
I'm not in very good
Yeah,
shape,
fine.
but if I was, I'd be with the opposition.
Yeah, that sounds
Varus-
good.
Varus thinks about it for a moment. My men and I have already taken a different contract, but I am willing to sell you this one. Gesturing to Vidal.
Yes, perhaps. What is your other contract? I wonder, can you fulfill it from here without getting in the city?
Yes.
Very well. He shrugs.
If this all ends swiftly, we would be able to get some fine horses, I imagine, and head south to catch up.
Catch up with whom?
Some friends.
I
Do you
believe
imagine these?
the Punt and them were planning to head south already, weren't they?
They said they were gonna. Well, they were waiting for you, but
Okay.
yeah. Nadar is like, well, I can tell you that no one has left the city while we are here.
Very good.
That have gotten out.
In
We
that
have some
case,
people under guard, but
I'm sure that we can come to an arrangement then.
he gives a shrug slightly. Well, I will heal this way into the city now. And Anada goes to tell him of a drainage, a large drainage to the south of the city that begins in this small little, quote unquote, she calls it a cave, but describes it as kind of a man-made thing, where, and it dumps into a very small, creek, more or less, and that quickly has dried out and is now just a pit of filth and mixes with the sand. And Nadar is like, I see. None of my men know the city. And he's kind of being very thinking about this. He looks to Nada again. Do you know this route? And she shakes her head. I only know of where it begins. I have seen it, but I have not traveled it. He takes a deep breath. And my men would be spotted in the city, undoubtedly. And he kind of looks back to you again, and he's like, you, Melech, you are a man of my great uncle. I wonder if you would undertake this task.
I fought for your great uncle. I fought And unfortunately, this city failed. It failed to the enemy at one time. I will do whatever it takes to get this city back into the hands of our people. If that means going into that cave, exploring every inch of it, I will do that. I want that dog that sits in our capital dead.
Likewise. And he kind of strokes his chin again. You have said no, man, but what about you? And he looks to the Hyrcanian.
You said old man, then Hyrcanian. Which one?
Yeah, he looked at Varus and then kind of looked. He said, Varus. Basically, he said, Varus said no, but what about you? Varus is the old man in this situation, not Kagan.
He said no, he didn't want to go.
Varus said he did not want to go in.
You gotta deliver the puntins. I'm getting paid, goddammit. That's a lot easier than what the fuck he's about to tell us to do.
True.
Kagan's a realist. He's kind of like, he says there's no guarantees that our lives would not be forfeit entering the city as well. And they point to Vidal and he goes, this one here was already looking for us. If others that support him inside have similar orders, we may be spotted as well. They'll pause and they'll go, add to it, he'll go, to make no difference if your men were spotted or not. There's always strength in numbers. Basically, his mindset is like, at least send some guys with us if you want us to do this.
And Nadara says, I can send some with you. For sure, certain. I would not send men in blindly without any guard whatsoever. And he says, either way, please take a rest for the remainder of the day and night, and we can speak about this more on the morrow. I will have a surgeon come to you. He looks like Haroon.
My thanks to you.
And as far as your escort, you may visit our makeshift prison and see if anyone has made it out of the city that you're looking to escort.
Yeah, that'd be number one on Kagan's list right there. Look for his sister or any of her tribe.
Yeah. Byrne kind of gives Kagan like a hearty nod as he kind of goes off to the healer. To take care of things. I gotta take care of this first.
Yeah. So you are all kind of ushered out of the tents, and Elska leads you to a set of much smaller tents, not too far away from the large pavilions, and kind of just points his hand to a group of them. You may stay in any of these for the time being.
Melech nods at him and says, thank you, brother. It is good to be fighting at your side again, fighting for our city and our home. If all goes well, we shall have our kin sitting on the throne in there and leading us once more.
Let us hope, my brother. I hope your friends take this deal, however. It will be easier than all the bloodshed that will come on the morrow. He kind of grimaces.
Yes, I hope for the same. But now we must rest.
Yes. Rest and gather your strength. If anyone wishes, I have men that will take you around the camp, but you are not allowed to leave at the moment, I am afraid to say.
Which is all very well. I do not choose to leave.
Of course, brother. I shall see you on the morrow. Elska kind of walks away and leaves you there. They've already kind of secured Vidal for you, so you don't need to do any of that. But he's still yours, as far as you know. And you're all together in this group of tents. What would you like to do?
Sorry, I didn't hear the last bit.
You guys are all in your. So Haroon, you go to a surgeon, and basically he takes a look at your leg and is able to bandage it, and he cleans it out and stitches it up. He tells you that essentially he thinks that you're very lucky that you aren't going to lose your leg. And he gives you some elixir that is supposed to ease the pain.
Yeah, he's quite happy for that. He's had like a semi-grimace the whole time since we left the burning ruins, and this is like the first time he's not been in immense pain since, so he's quite happy.
Yep. And you're escorted back to your tent, where the other ones are kind of sitting around at this point, just trying to rest or whatever they're thinking about doing.
Melech will, approach Varus, standing outside of our tents, I'm sure, kind of milling about, getting the lay of the land, the campsite. Varus, what is your plan? If they did not leave the city and they are still there, there is no one to escort. If you have no job, then what?
The caravan wasn't in the city. So how are they going to be stuck in the city?
Why don't you roll me a warfare test there, Varus? Oh. So that's 2 momentum. Varus, you notice that... actually, I'll just whisper it to you.
Melech's just looking around the campsite. Mm-hmm. The obvious sight of men either sharpening weapons or getting gear together, preparing for a siege. It's familiar to him.
Hanwell says, I wonder if Merta got out, but did man say that they let no one escape? When was Merta planning on leaving?
I'm not sure. I know we were planning on leaving today. Which is great considering. Look around. I knew we shouldn't have bothered. We should have left yesterday. We'd been gone. And now I don't get paid unless I find out if Merta's still around and sneak the Puntins out. Should have stayed in Acolonia.
Haroon is looking pretty comfortable at the moment, and he kind of, with a grin that hasn't left his face since he got back.
Oh, it will be fine. I'm sure that she will be all right. I cannot imagine that she would have caused such a ruckus that they would be troublesome to her. And it would be in our best interest to be helpful. I do not imagine they intend to let us all leave.
I know enough about war camps I could probably get us past the guard. Well, maybe. Looks around, sees all the hustle and bustle.
But
It'd probably
think
be a
of it
lot
if you
easier
want-
than trying to besiege a city from the inside like idiots.
Oh, not siege it, my friend. Just, very carefully maneuver.
Well, if we are successful in our mission, the siege will be short, the war will be quick, and then we can go about our way. If we are not successful, it will take a very long time. That means we will be here a very long time.
If we're not successful, we'll be dead.
Perhaps. But we do not have many options, do we? And honestly, I favor our odds on getting it done faster.
Didn't you almost die? Not even a day ago?
I suppose I did. Yes.
Perhaps you might not be the best one to appraise our odds.
Suppose, but I am still alive, are I not?
Yes, our misfortune was fortuitous for you. You had access to a princeling surgeon.
Indeed.
But I have no men. I do not know where they are. And to be honest, I'd rather hedge my bets on sneaking past a bunch of drunk night watchmen than sneaking into a heavily fortified, besieged city to kill the Emir. Or to open the gates, whichever one comes first.
Well, perhaps we only need the one. Perhaps we send some of their men to open the gates. Well, we use that as a distraction and go to him and remove the head of the snake, if you will.
Hanwell kind of looks at her. You mean kill the Khan?
Arun smiles widely again. It would not be too difficult, I imagine.
You think it would not be too difficult? He looks at Kagan, kind of flabbergasted.
Yeah, catching up real quick. I'm assuming there's no signs of Murto whatsoever.
You guys haven't looked yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Kagan will reciprocate Hanwell's kind of look of flabbergasted. He's like, it's too much to boat all at once. To sever the head of the serpent is fine, he says, but this serpent has several heads. Those would be generals, each one given orders what to do, especially upon it. Their lieges fall, depending on his general outlook and willingness to keep the city. This effort is anything but easy.
I suppose so, but we do have one of said generals, do we not? His garb would make a suitable disguise, if nothing else. Enough to slip in, and perhaps remove something, and leave swiftly.
Would have to remove the noseless one's tongue as well, before he was of any use. First chance he got, he would rat us all out.
Ah, but you underestimate the skill of a master assassin. I could make the face similar.
Melech turns to Varus as this conversation is going on. Well, old soldier, it seems that you are concerned with one thing that most men are concerned with, and that is their livelihood, their future, the money that they could get from pay for aiding in the fall of a city that he wants to take. Imagine the wealth offered for that kind of assistance. If it is money you are looking for and gold you want, I am sure you will have no short supply of it if you choose to take this job. While I am taking my home back, you would do very well to see it as simply a contract, and that is all well and good. If that is how you choose to see it, I will still fight at your side, and I would still appreciate your company.
I don't know this Nadir Shah. I don't trust him to give me enough money for this risk. I trust Kagan's sister to pay me to do what I'm supposed to do, and that arrangement's been in place. We haven't been paid for any of this. My pockets are running light, Melech. I didn't come down here to do this for fun, and I don't care about your home. No offense. I'll mull it over.
Hanwell speaks up and he says, Mirta was supposed to pay you, and where do you think Mirta is? Is she here? And he kind of stands up. I will look.
We're going to search now.
And Hanwell looks very motivated to go look, as that's his wife. And
Yes, you will go search. I will.
Kagan's equally as motivated as well.
yeah, and you hear like Hanwell muttering, "Why did I wait so long? Why did we argue? Why did we fight?" He's like very, apparently quite upset. You are led to where they're holding people that they found trying to leave the city, but don't know what to do with them. You see, for a long while you're looking and you see no one you recognize. Eventually you come to a large figure standing, or actually sitting, next to a large pole, large tent pole, with the tent flaps kind of pulled back, and he's just kind of shading himself and drinking out of a water skin. He doesn't even notice you guys kind of walk by. Kagan knows this as a Hurricanian as well that made the trip. It was one of Hanwell's essentially bodyguards. He's the guy that lets you use his axe to execute someone. I don't remember who that was offhand, but Chins. So
if I spot him and Hanwell doesn't, I'll
yep, you do.
Yeah, I'll brusquely grab Hanwell's shoulder and pull him to a stop. And then when he acknowledges that, I'll point towards Tengwar.
And he kind of nods and walks over, and Tengwar looks up. Oh, Kagan, Hanwell, you're well. Where were you when this happened? It was chaos. He kind of stands up.
Kagan will reach out to grasp his wrist.
He takes your hand and gives it a shake.
Yeah, he says, good to see you as well, Tengwar. He says, we have only just returned to the city to find it under siege once again.
He looks at it. Bloody business it will be.
Look at him. Is he shackled or any sign? Does he have weapons? Or is he...
No, he doesn't have any weapons on him, but he's not shackled.
First foremost question would be, says, tell me, how have you come to be here? And are there others from the tribe here?
He frowns and says, I don't think so. I was out in the desert looking around, riding. I was bored. Mirta's, I don't know. He kind of looks at Hanwell. All these men in chains. Doesn't suit me. Regardless. Saw these men come up over the crest. And I tried to get back. And he kind of looks at you. Good.
Yeah, Kagan bites his whiskered lip really heavily, and he looks around and slowly, because he's not the smartest light bulb in the room, he slowly starts to put two and two together. Are there other females around, by chance?
Just a nada. Actually, she probably stayed back at the tents.
Yeah, because a lot of soldier mentalities, if any women, if they're not killed outright, they're usually thrown in a friggin' whore tent.
Mm-hmm.
Kagan will just mutter audibly. He doesn't care who the hell hears it because this doesn't bode well. And he'll start looking around for one of the or what's his name? Nadir Shah. Mm-hmm. Look around for one of his military garbed soldiers.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Approach one, not offensively, but with purpose, and also as if not that I'm out of place, like please kind sir, but just
No.
just go up to it and I go, you there, answer a question if you would.
He kind of stops and looks at you.
Says,
Kind of looks irritated that he's having to talk to you, but he just nods his head.
Is Shah his last name or like a title or?
I believe it's his family name. Yeah.
Okay. Does he have a title?
You've been hearing him called Lord.
Okay.
You don't know any specifics.
I am Kagan of the Nazali, of the hill tribes of Himalaya. Says I have been given your lord's permission to look for others of our tribe. Says tell me, where are the women taken?
Women, and he kind of looks like sidelong. There are no women taken. It was by order by Nadir Shah. If we took them, they would be here. We are not to defile anyone. This is his city. Once we get inside, those that have agreed to serve the Khan, they will be our prizes.
We'll then go on to iterate, and he goes, well, then perhaps you could answer me this. I'm looking for a woman, Hyrcanian, somewhat what resembles me, if not a bit older, and basically describe her and some others. She's the one I seek.
The other women's tents are over here. He kind of walks you over there and pulls back the flap, and you're kind of a little bit surprised to see there's not very many of them, probably a half a dozen, and none of them match the description of, or none of them are your sister. Tingwar is kind of standing nearby as you're all doing this and watching. He says, Kagan, I do not think she left the city. I would assume that she went inside when she saw the armies come. For protection. To protect her stock. Any slaves found out here would likely be taken. Or she could have thought that. Kind of shrugs.
Yeah, Kagan contemplates the alternatives and he just ultimately mutters, he says, let us hope so. Look to Hanwell and kind of, I guess this helps our decision one way or another. We're going to enter that city and find Mirta.
Hanwell nods. That will do as you see fit, brother. I'm not a warrior like you, but I'll do what I must.
Turn to Tengwar, raise an eyebrow as the one tiny shred of intelligence sparks an ember, and he goes, perhaps we could get this one his blade back. He fight alongside of us?
Of course I would, he says.
Definitely, if Hanwell's cool with the idea, we can at least bring him with us if they'll let him come.
Yeah, I mean, from what you've seen, doesn't seem like that would be an issue. More the merrier, right?
Yeah. Kinfolk. It's that next to kin mentality. Come on, cuz.
So Varus kind of storms off as you're all kind of standing around, but it doesn't take you long to walk back to the tents and catch up with him there, as there's nothing to be found here, apparently.
Yeah. Would I take it you guys would fill Haroon in?
Well, ultimately, yeah, if we're all going to be meeting back at one spot for the remaining.
Yeah, you're back at the tents, unless you have anything you specifically want to do.
Varus would start reading his gear. You said Vidal is still in our tent.
He's in a different tent. He's under guard, like strict guard by the.
I was gonna kick him going back. Got my frustrations. Walk into my tent, kick something inanimate over, and
just go in and check in on him and grab his whack of nose and twist it to the other side. How fair is your wound?
And I'm not gonna catch shit with the Shah's men. Let's go in and kick over a post that's standing up or something like that. Something that's not gonna bring the tent down on me. And just
Yeah.
get my stuff together.
Yeah, but Kagan will come in with Tengwar and then ultimately relent. He says, I could not find signs of my sister. He says, Tengwar's words do allow a little comfort, however. If she is truly clever enough, she would have sought refuge inside the city. Protect her assets, if you would. Kind of leaves that. He doesn't really care for slavery, but at the same time, it's not really his place to worry about it.
Well then, we have a perfect way of ensuring her safety, don't we? We help this Nadar, and in turn, he makes sure that she is safe.
Kagan will just bluntly goes, he says, brother and blood or not, he says, I do not know this man, nor do I trust him. Words are given freely.
Indeed.
This war will be costly to all. There's no guarantees that any coin will be had. Look to Varys brooding. Says, but I do know that I cannot leave this place without knowing that I've done everything to ensure my sister's safety.
Yeah, Hanwell speaks up. I will not leave Myrta. I left her once, not again.
Well, I suppose I'm coming along since if I don't get paid. So, there's not much choice on my end either. Spin on the ground again.
Kagan feels your pain. At the same time, he admires the fact that you've agreed. And he'll go and place a hand upon your clavicle, shoulder. And he says, I promise you this, Varys, son of whoever. He says, the pledge that you would make this evening will not go in vain. So if there were wealth and riches to have, you shall have your share as well as my own. I care for only my sister's safety.
He waves his hands. Everybody needs coin. I'll take my fair share and my men's fair share if I can find them in this god's forsaken place.
He'll then take his hand and withdraw it, but collapse it to a fist and then rap you playfully on the shoulder. He says, waste not any more of your men. Use the Shahs. After all, he is going to give us a retinue. Why not bark orders at them?
True, but I have men that I trust. I do not trust the Shah's men. But as far as I could throw them, and as you can see, he points over and his wrinkles and how old he is. I'm not the man I was 25 years ago. He gets up. I'm going to scour the camp for my men.
Yeah, out of character, I was just giving the avenue, whichever is easier, if you actually find some of your people or if he just wants to interject.
Yeah, as much as you guys look, you don't find anyone else that you recognize here in these camps. There's not that many people that have been captured. You don't know about the dead. When you inquire about anybody who's been killed, you're told that their corpses have already been burned. Yep.
I'm gonna be pretty fucking shitty with this Shah if he killed my men. Let me tell you.
Well, it's pretty efficient, actually. It cuts down, because you don't know how long you're going to be sieging a city, and it cuts down on disease and stuff, just lingering out and running.
Yeah, but it pisses off old men that can bear grudges, so that's the downside of killing someone's mercenary companions.
Never said it was fair or just efficient.
No, I got you. I agree, but I'd still kill him if I found out.
All right. So, the day and night passes. You're given your complete 100%, no one is bothering you to let you sleep and rest. However, the next day early, you're rounded up again and brought back to the Shah's tent. He looks a little bit more serious without a smile. Elska's also there. And he turns and he says, "Today the blood will run. But you perhaps can help us. As I mentioned, some of you have agreed, some of you have not. Some of you have given me no answer. If it is to be, then I wish to undertake this task now. Find this secret route into the city and throw open the gates. Or take this pretender, this usurper, and feed him your blade. Or both." And he looks kind of to everyone and you would be paid. Well, what is your asking price? Tell me, do you want land, lordships,
Well,
emirs? Do you wish to be the new emirs of Shushan? With your own wages, your own incomes? I can give you gold now, but an emir, well, they make gold for the rest of their lives by doing nothing besides ruling other men. In my name, of course.
of course. Well, the first thing I would like to ask for, we have friends in the city. Our sister. She is likely retreated to ensure her slaves' safety. We would like them to be preserved for in turn for this help.
So be it.
Very good. In addition, I would like her and our caravan to be supplied for a trip south.
Of course. That is nothing.
Very good.
He looks to Kagan and Hanwell, and then to the others.
Well, I suppose I could do with a good horse and some new daggers as well, but the rest is up to the others.
Yeah, he kind of waves his hand. He's like, "This is all trivial matters. Of course, anything such as this, you simply tell me, and that will make it so. Is there anything specific that you wish? Tell me, though." But pintons like horses and blades, just assume it is so.
Land. I want a tavern in the city.
You shall have it.
And to share whatever spoils from the city's reclamation.
Well, of course. We'll see a suitable price for you.
That's all I have.
He
Kagan,
looks to Melech and Kagan.
Kagan just kind of says, "I wish nothing more than my sister's safe return, to be free of bloodshed for a while. It's left a most dishonorable taste upon my palate."
Let us hope your sister is well inside the city. Hopefully the vagabonds and emirs there now have not turned on her already.
And
I'm sure lawlessness and recklessness is spreading like wildfire.
yeah, Kagan will say it kind of like, then he'll say it abruptly with not really any direction or meaning other than the seriousness of it, but it's also one of those things where he kind of wishes he hadn't said it after he already said it. And he'll just basically just go, "Yes, let us hope that she still lives." Just kind of leaves that brief awkward moment. It's like, is he talking to him like that?
Yeah. He kind of just looks at you and he doesn't say anything if you recognized her or not. And then kind of looks over at Melech. "And you, brave soldier, I know that you have duty and honor, but men with duty and honor should not be working as mercenaries."
And Melech kind of nods his head and bows it down a little bit, closes his eyes. He's been thinking long and hard about what it is he wants for his future and his life. And with his head still down, he's recalling images and memories of a place. And he kind of raises his head up and he says, "My lord Nadir, just a few days to the south and west of here, a lake surrounded by woods. The lake feeds the river that goes through Rivertown. The land out there is beautiful. It is stark and untouched. To build a farm and a home out there and to live in peace, it is something that I would much desire to do. I could still be close to the city I love of Shushan, and I could still respond in times of need. When she needs my sword, I would be nearby. But to live my life near that lake and those woods, after having done everything I have done in my life, to know that I could be peaceful and restful out there, that would be the best treasure I could ask of you. If you would do me the honor of letting me work that land and live there, I will gladly do everything in my power to see that Shushan falls back into your hands."
Lord Nadir stands up and walks towards you, placing a hand on your shoulder and kind of bows. "It is the least I could do from a loyal and leal servant of my uncle, and now me." And says, "Bring me the head of the Khan, or throw the doors open, or both. You will all get your justice, your payment, what is due to you, I promise. We can win this fight without much bloodshed from either side, if you only succeed."
Very good. I imagine I will think of something else, but for now, I would say we have a fine deal.
And Nadir Shah looks at Elska and he says, "Give them anything they need." And he nods. "You wish troops to come with you? We can send a few. We don't want an entire army coming out of wherever you'll come out, but..."
Excuse me.
Yeah, you're good. And he just kind of, "I will assign them to you on the way. Have them follow you."
Need 4 good men. And looks him down at his bare leg that he shattered his leg piece to not get smashed by Vidal. And I need a replacement legging for my mail.
I could use some armor before we head in as well.
Very well. That's no problem.
Oh yeah, did Melech break some armor?
Say that again?
Did Melech break some armor too?
If you did, you can assume it's no longer broken. So go ahead and check out your dudes and make sure
Kagan would like
they'll
some
repair
armor.
everything. Yep. They give you anything within reason. That's fine.
Cool.
So just make sure you update your sheets of if you want to put armor in those spots. Trying to match it to the same armor you have now, right? If you have 2, just do 2. If you whatever.
I was gonna say Haroon would ask for some actual brigandine if they're willing to give it to him.
Sure.
Cool.
And so it is that Elska and his men accompany you to this sewage entrance into the city that Anada knows. Anada takes you there, and you all kind of you go to this place and you see kind of what they're talking about. There's this rocky outcropping. It's probably you're probably a mile away from the city. And she kind of points towards it and she says, and what that I have heard is that this is long abandoned, but it should bring you into the city. And she kind of shrugs. Be careful, Hanwell, she says, and he nods back, and you can see that there's basically you have to kind of walk up this small black stream to get inside. And Elska just sits on his horse watching impatiently. He calls down to Melech, "Good luck, brother."
Yes, but we shall see you, just to be ready when those doors open.
Nods. We will be ready.
And Melech just turns around and starts walking towards the entrance.
Anybody got anything else to say, do, etc.?
Luna grins. Well, this will be most interesting, friends. Let us hope it goes well. And if worse comes to worse, stick to the shadows.
You remember the blowgun dude that shot Melech?
Mm-hmm.
Did he have leftover poison?
Oh yeah, Hearn has it.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely want to ask you about that. Maybe for a special arrow, if in the event we do see the
Yeah, Haroon, if you ask him, he has 2 of the darts, and he would give you one of the darts if you want.
I didn't know if you had actual application of the poison. I wouldn't mind making an arrow or 2. Or at least have the ability to make an arrow.
I was going to say, would it be reasonable for him to kind of pop the dart and apply it to the arrow?
I mean, it's
roll me
applied.
craft.
It's applied to the tip of it. I mean, it's probably not.
Yeah,
allowed.
roll me a craft with a difficulty 2.
I don't suppose Kagan's good with craft. Haroon would ask him first.
Are you good with darts?
No, he's not.
Haroon definitely isn't good at that type of
I
thing.
have an intelligence of 13, so if you,
So
I mean,
the dart's already applied with the poison. There is no thing of poison.
Yeah, it
That's
wasn't like a
what you
vial
could-
of poison.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point, yeah.
Never mind then. 'Cause,
Yeah.
it's too risky.
You fuck this up, you're in deep shit.
Yeah, I was going to say, Haroon can't really take any damage, or everything is terrible.
Yeah, if he had like a vial, it'd be a simple matter of grabbing 3 arrows and pouring the whole vial over the tips of the arrow. But
You still have his blowgun?
Yeah, Haroon has the blowgun.
There you go.
Yeah, he would actually give that to Kagan, because he's not actually that good with a blowgun.
if you got the presets, preload stuff as a range, yeah, I'd definitely take it.
But yeah, because blowgun falls under range, and Haroon is. It's not a hidden weapon technically, so you can't use it properly. So yeah. So yeah, 2 darts with Stygian red and a blowgun.
Even if we can use it to secure the gate, that'd be helpful too. Stealth and
Forrest will appraise the value of the men that he was given for this little.
Yeah, they appear to be kind of common stock foot soldiers. You're not really particularly sure, but they will here to serve you. The shows will.
Very well. Stick close to me. Follow my orders. I'll try to bring back as many of you alive as I can. But no promises. This is war.
They just kind of look at each other, and one of them looks back to you and gives you a nod. Very well. All right, give me like 5 minutes here.
Yeah, actually, I could use a bio break, so I'll be right back.
It's
Oh, and I
time
went
to
and-
climb through the shit.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I just added brigandine armor and a helmet.
Yeah, so good. Doc, you're pretty loud. I don't know.
The Type Master.
But, I mean, just your voice is loud, too.
My voice is loud.
Mm-hmm. Pretty loud.
He's got a commanding presence.
Well, I can try and talk softer.
That's okay.
Hey,
If you
gentlemen.
can mute on the types, that would probably be fine because it sounds like you're typing on my keyboard.
Yeah, I'm having to look behind me every now and again too. Oh.
What's that?
So, output volume. Let me turn that down.
I don't know that Discord really sucks with that kind of stuff. I don't
How
think it
about
would
now?
actually work.
We can technically adjust his input too. If we
Yeah,
I try. It doesn't do anything.
it's not that big of a deal for
Am
me.
I?
Yeah, it's
am
not
I
too
as loud
bad.
as I was.
A little bit quiet is probably better. It's more just if you're able to do a quick mute prior to typing. So that's when it really like pops. Is the
Okay.
fucking machine guns on the headset.
Hey, will you talk a couple times there, Doc? Say some few things.
So I was thinking that what we should be doing is going into this cave. Once we get in there, we can kill every last motherfucker we see.
Yeah. That.
Okay.
Well, I'm just gonna pretty much throw these guys to the wolves. In my squad. So I told them that to make them feel better. If we become blood brothers through the sweet dance of combat, then fine. But if they die, then I mean, I'm not paying them, so it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, definitely get Tengor some stuff. Give him if his old blade or whatever. I know he's an executioner.
Yeah, he's got his stuff.
So, am I still loud, Tut?
It's I turned you down a little bit. You sound better for sure.
Yeah, you're fine, man.
Your new setup got you all crisp and clear.
I know. Hello, everyone. This is Melech.
Yeah, you
I'm
do kind of
reporting
do have a radio voice a little bit.
I'm reporting live from the tunnels below the city. What we have going on here tonight is an invasion.
We're not getting fucking paid
Fucking grumpy old man.
every time. I just want to get paid.
I just want my
I
money.
haven't
You
been
get there.
paid.
I just want there to be another chapter to this because
I know.
we're gonna be able to get to the point to where we can finally
We'll be able to do
basically quote unquote level our guys, and then we're not going to come back to this for 2 years.
And then get paid. Give me my fucking money. Yeah, we'll give you 300 gold if we ever.
300 gold 5 years later.
Like fuck, I feel like I'm dealing with investment bankers.
What's an Aquilonian got to do to pay in this joint, man?
That's right. Give me my money.
Show me the money.
At least I
Hey,
can
there,
maybe.
Sean. I said, show me the money.
At
I'm
least-
giving you everybody a torch currently, but when you
Like, at least I can get a building out of this now and rebuild the company. But fuck.
I want to bathe in wine every night.
So Melech has the torch in his left hand and his broadsword in his right hand.
you come up this disgusting sloppy sand and water mixed, and you kind of get in here, and the smell of decay and rot is very, very, very potent. And it is up to you to which way you go or what you do.
Well, we need a scout.
Grab some goat cheese and rub it across the top of my lip and mustache, and then bring kerchief up covering it.
And well, did the woman tell you anything else other than how to get to the entrance? Do we know directions? Do we know routes?
She did not know. She simply said that this would get us there. I do not know how large it is. She said it was long abandoned. And you see, right around where you are, there's just cobwebs everywhere.
Well, we need a scout. I think I know of one person who's pretty good at being stealthy.
Immediately go to the north and start surveying for signs of tracks. I can move him.
You don't have access to them? That'd be weird.
Yeah, Haroon kind of be as low to the ground and quiet as he can. How far is he able to see without a torch?
Without a torch?
Yeah.
That far.
Not really. Yeah. In that case.
Whatever we
kind
do,
of,
move as one. Don't get lost or separated down here. I might not get out.
Just want to crouch down and look for immediate signs before we start trekking off anywhere.
Yes, Haroon just
Like-
kind of...
Roll me. Go ahead and roll me observation, you guys.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say Haroon kind of gets up to there to see if he can see anything, but...
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of watching specifically for any lights down any of the tunnels or anything like that.
I get
Sure,
to
that'd be probably
roll.
super obvious.
Get to reroll one of them. So that's 2 successes.
Mm-hmm. That's a momentum.
Observation, you said, yeah?
Yep.
Ah, there it is.
I'm not gonna bother. I haven't passed an observation roll this whole campaign.
There we go.
So 2 momentum. You see nothing that would indicate that anybody's been here. At least where you are.
Yeah, my biggest concerns are like little tiny rat prints as opposed to big giant rat prints.
It's just, that level of detail you cannot see. I mean, you can tell that there's nothing that's broken these cobwebs or anything like that in this area.
That's a goat's corpse in them cobwebs. What's that?
Yeah, that'd be something to watch out for.
So we pick one side, go, and then if we fail in that, well, the siege isn't going anywhere. We go the other way.
I suppose so. Yeah.
Pump a squat, stick my teeth in that direction. Then if I hear the sounds of, looks like 2 of y'all already going down that way, I'll join back up.
Yeah. Rude peeks the corner, sees nothing. Kind of moves up to pop the planks as best he can. Getting ready to
So as you kind of
as best he needs to if it goes loose.
So right here, as you cross this this little bridge, you hear this like chittering almost, and you see that there are several rats coming up out of this grate, and they kind of turn towards the light, and these kind of slink back at first, and then you notice kind of from here you look down in this grate and you see just dozens of red eyes kind of looking up at the light, and they begin to like quickly come out of the grate, and
Ooh.
Brandish flame! Brandish flame!
I was gonna say, yeah, that seems like the thing to do.
these guys are down here with you. You guys can tell me how you want everybody positioned.
Yeah, I mean, everyone crossed over and sees them all kind of coming up, so.
Mm-hmm. So go ahead and you guys turn here.
Yeah. I mean, I think. Yeah, let me. God, it's been a while since I did the maneuvers.
You fool, run back. Knock the planks away.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, actually,
Oh my god.
so he has a cloak on. I was gonna say he'd kind of go to cross the planks and lay that over them, essentially, after lighting it. So kind of like where he has dropped his cloak while it's on fire, and then kind of hop back across the planks, essentially.
You spend a momentum. I think that could be possible.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
All right. So let's see here.
Do you have a cheat sheet for displays?
Yeah, there should be one. I can't guarantee there's one, but I thought there was.
It should be on the main one, yeah. Trying to find it.
All right, so you drop this. You drop this cloak, and it basically keeps some of them from getting out. So you're fighting one less unit now. Who's up?
Melech will just kick the planks into the water.
Okay. You kick the planks into the water, and you see that one end of the plank goes into it, and it literally only goes down like an inch. And as you kind of look down into what that is, it looks like it's very, very shallow, black, gross sludge more than running water. And that would be your move, so you can go ahead and do something else if you want.
Yeah, I have no other actions to take.
Okay. Kagan or Varus?
Go on, Kagan.
So I'm just looking for the displays, but I don't see anything on there. So I'm looking through the DM's guide, or the DM's screen, but I don't see anything there on
You're
display.
looking for Flaming Brand?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's survival, close range. 3 damage, stun, vicious 1. And the only requirement is that you have a torch or something on fire.
I'd say you're in close range right now.
Yeah, Kagan would do that before, because he apparently has a torch for illumination. Give him a chance to do that, then he can drop it based on the success of it. Yeah, definitely want to brandish and just hiss at him. You know, it's like, you cursing him in Hyrcanian. You said it's what survives.
What is that one's survival?
Yep.
What is it called? What is that one
Flaming
called?
Brand. At page 125.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, Greg. So yeah, that would be yeah. Go ahead and roll survival.
Yeah, well, use if there is a momentum to use.
There's plenty. There is 4 momentum. Right.
Nice.
So go ahead and roll. So it's what did they roll? Do they roll anything in response? Is it
No, it's just the
yeah, that's what I
the mental
thought.
damage.
Okay, go ahead and roll me 3 battle die then.
That's vicious.
Yep, vicious 1 and stun.
That's 5. And I will put the 1 point of momentum gain.
You actually got 2.
Yeah, I'll put those 2 into damage. So it'd be 5, 7 mental.
Nice.
7 mental.
Stun as well, so.
Is it area or just 1?
It's close.
I think it's it. I
So
think it's
it's
just
one-
everybody
one-
in close
one-
range.
It doesn't say area though, so I'm thinking it's 1 target. So it'd be 1 swarm.
Yep, but they're mobbed, so they're minions and they're mobbed, I think.
Oh, okay.
Let me make sure that's the case. Yep. So what happens is you kind of... How does this look as these things go back into the grate, fleeing as quickly as they can?
Kagan, just in his mind, there's a lot of animals pose a threat, and instead of dropping the torch and drawing his bow, he just makes the best of what he has at hand. And like I said, he just hunkers down and he just starts cussing out. Back to your hole, back to your hole. Get down there, down, beast, down, down. And
Yeah, with the flame that the cloak of Haroon that he had set, and the your flaming brand, these rats think twice about coming up out of the grate and try to get back down and just flee. Some down the grate, some around the corner, just leaving you alone essentially. And you basically hit them all. Because their resolve is only 2, so...
Nice.
go, mental damage.
Yes, good stuff, man.
It makes
Built
sense.
a charisma character, and it is dangerous, man.
Haroon certified mental damage is painful.
It is. Yeah. He can attest. Well, thank you.
Let's just hope that you look down at the bridge, just lurking in the water. Let's just hope that was not the way.
Indeed. Well, Melech.
I mean, you could still try to cross it,
I imagine.
just getting in there. As I say, like, the bottom of it isn't so much deep, it's just a bunch of gunk. Yeah.
Haroon kind of looks to Melech.
Well then, I suppose you are in front now.
Very well. Let's be off then. And Melech is going slow and making sure to take in his surroundings under close observation, watching where he's stepping, looking where he's going.
And despite Kagan's better interest, he's actually liking the fact that his hand is being occupied with a torch right now. Like, I can't shoot this. I'm like...
So as you kind of get there, Melech, you hear something. Do an observation roll.
Any chance for Haroon would as well?
Sure, anybody can. That's 1 success. Okay, so that's 2 momentum. You hear a... Is it a voice? It's... I don't know, I mean... That's a such bad.
And Melech will immediately just kind of stop, and he'll turn back and look to Haroon, and he'll kind of make a motion that there's, put his hand up to his ear, indicating that he's hearing something.
Yeah, Haroon gives him a swift nod, motioning that he hears it as well. He kind of points to the torch and then points the way it's coming from.
Kagan immediately places the torch on the ground in front of him a bit and draws his bow back and knocks an arrow as he rises.
Haroon has the torch in one hand, the dagger in the other. He kind of motions for Melech to toss his forward.
Probably found crazy Rafiki, sewer urchin.
So, Melech's gonna go ahead and toss my torch. Melech's gonna go ahead and just slowly, looking around the corner, just continue walking.
Follows after.
And as you get right about there,
what is it? Does someone come? They call me the bean. I'm not. I'll go see what it is. Is it the mistress? Is it there?
and you hear sloshing through some sort of water,
Yeah, Haroon sets his
something.
torch down and pulls his
Getting
shield off
closer.
his back.
And
Even go.
to the light. And as this thing comes traipsing towards you, you see this very large creature in man-like pose, but it looks like maybe a jackal. The jackal has rings in its ears and one through its nose, and it's like,
Who is this that's come to the beast's lair?
Oh, that's the beast. Shit.
Yeah, I had a feeling we'd find this guy down here. Yeah, Haroon actually kind of speaks of it.
Well, I must say, I'm surprised the beast speaks. Is the beast also friendly?
He raises an eyebrow and, kind of lets his dagger a little bit lower.
The mistress tell me to kill, I kill.
But I take it the mistress has not told you to kill us, yes?
Nah. Anyone.
and it brandishes its fangs and roars out and extends two massive claws by the sides of its hands.
Shit, fuck.
All right, so we'll I'm gonna move your dudes up here with you,
What the
Barris.
hell is that noise?
Yeah.
Fucking were-hyena going on here.
Yep. So let's see here. Give me 2 seconds. All right. First things first. All right. So. Bear with me. It's been a minute.
No problem.
All right. So, fear 2. So you need to all roll willpower, I believe. Discipline. discipline discipline equal to difficulty of 2 currently,
Righty.
or you get
I said already.
Yep.
Well, go ahead and use a momentum on this.
Same.
Yeah, same.
Same.
all right.
Yeah. Who learned from the crazy undead thing? You know, you can still stab it. That means
So
you can
how many momentum?
There
We've
was
all
6
used
people when I
one.
clicked it.
So 1, 2, 3. 3 have been used.
Okay, so 4.
Yeah. No, we ain't fucking around with this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Haroon and Varus passed, Melech and Kagan failed. So go ahead and let me see what that would be. We'll see. We'll see. So 6 mental damage. Roll for that.
Oof.
Ow.
Don't forget your fate points and all that stuff.
Actually, you would roll the damage, wouldn't you?
Let's say,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, I guess I could. Yeah, sure.
And what's our natural courage? So don't we have an attribute that adds to that?
Not unless you have. The
No,
first
courage
talent,
is something completely different. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of talents. The first one into discipline gives you one equal to your discipline rating. But other than that, I think it's just assassin actually, which is 2 combat dice worth. Or morale if we had more.
That didn't roll correctly. That's weird. That's not
I was
right.
gonna say.
I don't understand that. Okay, whatever.
Hey.
Yep, so this is fear. So everybody takes 3, or not everyone. Melech and Kagan takes 3
Despair.
resolve damage. So, yeah. So I'll go ahead and update your token bubbles for that. Okay,
And that won't work. And
so
take it.
Melech and Kagan are a bit shaken as this thing roars in front of them. Alright, you guys are up.
Kagan is going to immediately respond by something just snarling and attacking him with his own primitive defense, and that is he's going to unleash arrows.
Good idea.
Makes sense.
Seeing how Torch technically behind me, you have one. Assuming Melech still has one, he will use his marksman to add a momentum to the die roll. He will also use his volley to add another, because that's another die damage and another.
That's another. That's another. Yep.
So it'd be 4 dice. Yeah, he'll do that. That way he'll leave some momentum in the pool. Just use his own stuff. And assuming it's difficulty 1 from distance, but reduced for marksman. Or difficulty
Yep.
2 down to 1.
Yeah, I'd say probably so.
So it's 4 dice. So
All right. So that's 4.
gonna reroll 3 misses. With my accurate, that's 5 to the head. He will, plus another die for volley.
Mm-hmm.
So
Man.
5, 7, and he will use the 3 momentum gain to boost that as well. So damage. So 2, 5, 7, 10 points total.
10 to the head. Yeah, that'll that'll hurt.
Yep. Okay. So.
Basically, Kagan's eyes will go wide
Yeah.
back, and he has the arrows that he's there. He'll quickly knock another arrow and do his 3-arrow fire.
Yeah, just you hit him like one just like pierces its maw, and one like hits it on the side of the neck, and it just like rah, it just kind of staggers there in place.
Yeah, Haroon's just gonna do a I forget what it's called, the one where I do observation to set up for my attack. You know.
Yep.
Yeah, that real quick. Is that insight or is that observation?
I thought it was observation. Pretty
Yeah.
sure.
So. Let's see. What's the momentum at now? Still 6?
Well, he spent 4 of it,
Yeah,
right?
he generated 3. Spent the
Didn't
3.
spend it all.
Or he spent 3,
Okay.
so you're at 3.
So yeah, I will use 1 on this.
Yeah, everything that I spent, I generated myself this round, so it had touched
Yep.
the total.
Sweet, yeah. So I actually generate 1 more.
Generate
Yeah.
2.
Yep.
Generate 2 total. You're at 4 in success. Melech.
Melech is startled and taken aback when he sees this thing kind of rushing through the murky, dirty water, kicking, splashing the water up as it comes, and the howl, sent a chill down through his bones, and he immediately is just an instinctive reaction as a soldier heads straight towards him, and using kind of the elevated position that he has right here, he takes a swing at him. First, he sees some arrows fly right by him as he's pulling his sword back, and he takes a swing at him with his broadsword. I will use 2 momentum for that. That will be my elevated position.
Okay. Okay, so I get a doom.
Oh my.
Um,
You generate.
actually, so the doom, I'm gonna actually not take the doom. Your complication is you fall down here as you swing.
Nice.
And then so otherwise you generated,
Okay.
let's see, 4
Four
successes. All right, so you needed 1, so you generated 3.
Keeping
Okay.
that momentum nice and full.
All right. Yep. Damage
And I
3.
will use
Okay.
2 to take that up to 5.
Okay.
Oh wait, I'm sorry.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll re-roll 5 dice.
I don't. With what? I think you can only. Are you just doing it with no mercy?
Yeah, one of the combat momentum that lets you re-roll misses.
Oh, I see. Oh, with a momentum. I see. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
better.
So I'll take 1 momentum away.
Damage differently.
So another 4. So that's 7.
Okay. So it takes 4 damage after its soak.
And I'll use momentum to put that up to 5. 1 momentum to increase that to 5. So as I'm slipping down and I take a swing at him, I slip and fall into down there with him, but it also the momentum and the force of me falling down pushes my sword in deeper.
Yeah, remind me if you want, Ted, at the end. I was reading to the rules myself. That I don't know how you want to do it, but the way that it looks like is once you declare your momentum spends, it gets that weird area. It's like once you declare whatever you pump the damage, and then they reduce it. That time for pumping up it's pretty much gone the way it looks.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. Vars?
how deep is this? Is it still the same kind of level of depth as far as for the muck?
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
standing.
Mm-hmm.
Can we? I don't know if I can cover that distance and attack in the same turn.
Yeah, you can't cover the distance and attack. You could move, and get there.
Look back at these guys. Man, you want to kill something absolutely terrifying and be remembered for it? Point over towards this thing. Let's go kill it! Jump in the muck. Take these fools with me.
They do jump in, surprisingly.
Quickly to our deaths.
Tangmar does the same thing. He kind of follows you, but it's kind of stuck. Hanwell kind of comes this way and gets behind Kagan. Alright, so first things first, my turn, yeah.
Where we find out how scary it really is.
Gonna roar and fuck us all up.
Fast healing vigor goes up by 5. So you see one of these arrows kind of just fall out of its neck as its skin kind of reforms and pushes the arrow free. Melech, where your blade had hit it, some of that begins to close as it heals. And it does roar very, very angrily. So this is for the actual... so 2 successes.
Is that just
So
almost or does it cover, like, the whole area?
This area.
It's... yeah, I think it's area. It is range close, actually, for this one.
Area is the scary part, because that means it hits the first one, and then more, and then more, and then more.
I haven't seen anything that says area, actually.
When you did the thing, it says range area.
Yeah, that's wrong. The range should be close, not. Let me make sure all that's right. That's not right. It's instead of piercing 1, it's vicious 1. The macro's wrong. So 2. So on these, do you get to roll like discipline or anything?
Usually no. It's just resolve damage. Unless it's like the baseline fear thing, and that's to see initial reaction, basically. But yeah, unless you have soak.
Yeah.
If it's mental damage, yeah, it's soak is your static courage rating plus morale dice.
Yeah, this one's going against Melech here.
I notice a lot of NPCs have courage ratings, no problem. Just trying to figure out what determines our courage rating.
So I have vicious 1.
So that would be 4 baseline.
You have 5.
That's if you don't reroll more.
Yeah, I'll spend 1 doom to reroll. 1, 2, 3, 4 die. So just 2 more.
3 more.
So that's 5. That's 7.
Jesus Christ.
All right. So that takes you down to 0.
Yeah, I'm gonna use a
resolve. Okay. So using the fate point, would you're doing it to negate everything, or just ignore? I don't know.
It's used to negate the penalties. You'll still get hit with it, but I think let me see.
If he's brought to 0, he's not taking penalties. I mean, I guess he would take some, wouldn't he? He'd have some mental trauma.
Well, they're resolve penalties, right?
Yeah,
so
you can use it to recover
only
or
on mental,
vigor, or resolve, or ignore the effects of wounds or trauma till the end of the scene.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll use it to recover everything that was lost. So
So let's go through this in order, right? So you took a hit of 7, so you went down to 0, and so you're gonna have 2 of these, but then you get it all back. And here's 8. So So basically, it bellows at you, and you're frightened terribly, but you're able to steel yourself from the fate point. But you still have 2 wounds, 2 mental wounds.
What does that do?
Does that make sense? Well, it's like a wound for your any mental ability. So observation, for instance, would be messed up, or insight or anything like that. Plus, if you get 5, you're dead still, you know. So it roars out. It's just so it just roars out at Melech, and Melech, how do you react to that on your end?
Well, Melech kind of like puts his head down, almost like he's facing like a harsh wind as it's roaring out to him, and he just kind of holds the torch out in front of him, and he grips the torch, he grips his sword, and he steels himself, knowing that he has to help save his city. So he looks back up at the beast, determined to fight it.
Okay, it is your guys' turn now. Actually, I'm gonna use some Doom. Yep, I'm gonna use some Doom. Hold on.
So his howling does not have the area quality? Okay.
It does
that
not.
would really suck if it did.
Yeah, area.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, actually he rolled 2 effects, so it'd be 2 additional targets.
So I'm gonna spend. Let's see. Yeah. 4 Doom.
Oh, fuck.
Now, with these things, they actually come out more than what they say they do. So, where?
Here, Varys, now hold your ground. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys all would see Hearn's actually wearing armor now. Now they threw his cloak off earlier.
Hold this line. I'll go for help.
Okay, so for each Doom spent on reinforcements, 2 additional venomous vermin swarms arrive as reinforcements at the end of the turn.
Good.
So, I used 4, so that means 8 more come in.
He's got control of the rats. It's Willard. Oh no.
Yeah, there's like a couple
All
spawns
right.
worth. Easy.
3 squads worth. Yep. Alright, now you're up. Actually, I'm going to spend Doom to have him go first. Razek.
My love.
He's going to howl again.
For you is like the truck race our guard.
Nah, actually, he attacks. Let me see here.
Yeah, I don't think this would be much of a secret entrance if he just keeps going off, be like a car alarm in a super.
Yeah.
What's that? I don't know. I'm not going down there to look at it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point where there becomes that rumor of ghosts in the sewers.
The shit cleaners haven't been coming back the last few days.
Yeah.
My initial
Have
gut
you seen the
instinct
place?
is-
I'm not sure they really have ever.
There is a beast. Oh, that's a Doom spin. Okay, never mind. Okay, so he attacks.
Be funny if
Yeah.
Ananda was his mistress.
It was all a trap. Yeah.
Yeah, who knew about the secret way anyway?
All right, so attacking. Doc.
He can parry arrows, he can parry swords. Can he parry claws?
Let's find out.
the one time it hit 0. Will this be it? Probably not.
That's gonna fucking hurt if he doesn't. There, Doc.
Oh, that was a swing at me. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Do
yeah.
your thing.
Yeah.
We all know what's gonna happen now.
So yeah, he goes to take a swing at him after I've steeled myself and told myself I'm in this battle to help save my city. And I put my foot down into the muck and bring my sword up against his claws. And I used a momentum for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's familiar.
Okay. So you gain 1 momentum. All right. I'm going to do a swift action with... it only costs me
actually, I'm
1
gonna
doom to do that. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, yeah,
give
go
you
ahead.
a
Finish
doom
your
and do
stuff.
a
You're gonna
riposte
riposte
as
or
you
something.
bring your claws down on me and I knock them away. Your claws kind of scraping off the side of my blade. I swing my blade around and bring it against you, using another momentum.
Okay. Okay, so you're rolling 3. I'm going to try to parry. I'm going to pump Doom into it. Pumping 3 Doom into it.
Berserker Barrage!
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So you rolled 3, I rolled 4. So I get a Doom back. So basically you swing with this sword and it brings its claws up and just... You hear ching as its claws as sharp as a sword deflects your blade away. And I'm going to do a swift attack using 1 Doom. It costs me... He has a special ability and he attacks again.
Need a good hyena.
And I'm gonna pump Doom into this. I'm gonna pump two Doom into the attack. Oh my gosh! Give you 1 momentum.
Alright.
Here it comes again.
Well, I was gonna
Alright.
say, you can only react once, can't you?
Yeah, thanks. Well,
What do you mean react? He used
No, I
the
mean, if he tries-
momentum.
yeah. If he,
Oh, you're
if
actually
he,
gonna
though,
riposte?
Doc can parry again. The thing is, I think you can
I
you
can't
can
remember.
parry as much as you want. You just have to pay Doom.
Well, he could.
or
He
if you have a
he
shield
parried-
and a sword, you can get 2 free
yeah.
parries.
He
Oh, yeah.
That's
Well, I
correct.
mean,
Yep.
I haven't
no
worked
matter
on
what.
Conan in so long. Gosh, yeah.
Yeah. He can parry again for free. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because it increased doom cost, of course. Sweet.
Yeah. You don't want to get hit by
Yeah.
this. I can say that.
This will fuck you hard.
Oh yeah. It's 7 plus.
Could you imagine 2
Yeah.
people with riposte swinging and parrying each
So
riposte?
I'm going to use
You roll until someone gets zeros.
2 momentum to parry that.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. I'll take the Doom, but you're able to parry it, and you get 1 momentum.
So we just kind of stand there in the muck going back and forth, not able to get a clean shot on each other.
All right. Who's now? It is your guys' turn.
Melech is going to take a swing at him. After their back and forth, Melech looks for an opening. I'm taking 2 momentum and swinging at him.
All right.
That's a lot of success.
Man, it's 5. 5
Damn.
successes.
Gonna wanna pump those into something. Otherwise, I think the pool will start overflowing. Oh, okay.
I haven't added it
You need a
yet.
weapon that does piercing, vicious, intense, and parrying all in one.
Man, I will attempt to parry, giving you a momentum to do so.
So are all his actions at
I'm
-3
not
right
gonna
now?
use.
All those
Unless he
previous,
spends the
Yeah,
doom like
sure.
yeah, that previous
if it's a
round of
nemesis, you
combat
can
that we
spend
went
Doom the
back
same
and
way
forth on,
players.
it should have all been at -3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, probably true.
So I probably should have come out ahead on most of that.
Yeah, he didn't hit you anyway. Okay. Yeah, he's not gonna do anything. As far as parrying goes, so it's. What are you gonna do?
I'll put 2 momentum into pumping it up to 7.
Okay.
That's it.
Anything else? Okay. So knocks it down to 4. So you slice him across the armpit. Just spins and swings haphazardly at you. Boris.
Oh, we're going full tilt into it. I can see torch range
Okay.
and see everything, the eyes in the background. Over to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Men, kill this one quickly and get back on dry land. The beady red eyes in the dark. And let's order an attack on this thing. Let's roll some
Yep.
dice.
Give yourself plus
Is it
4.
Is it 6? 5?
Yeah, it's 6. I don't think there's a
Yeah,
limit
not
for
for
squad.
squatting.
Well, we're gonna reroll damage for one.
maybe use some of it for reroll.
That's all right, I guess. And then,
It's 2.
So
oh my
2.
god.
Plus you
It's
have
3,
intense
yeah.
though,
Yeah,
and
so it's
vicious.
3
So you
right
have
now.
vicious. So it's 3 damage.
I mean, you might as well just use the rest you generated to
So-
pump damage.
What are we at for momentum with that? Oh, we're overflow. Well, I know that.
Let's see. Okay. All right. So you're. I haven't touched it since this. So that's 4. So you'd be at 9. You spent 1 to re-roll, so it's 8. So you
I
can
was gonna say, you
play
wanna
with
use
it
at
in
least 2
there
more.
right now.
I'll
But
pump,
if you,
no, fuck it. I'll pump
yeah.
5 more into this for 8 damage. Then have a ball.
All right. So 8 damage.
Yep, 2.
And it's
wounds if it
intense. So that's gonna put to 0. Yeah, that kills it.
So what kind of weapons are these guys with me using?
They have just like sham shears,
So we all
scimitars,
just
things like
bulwark this
that.
thing, start cutting into it, and it's very much a team effort. But I get some good licks in with the axe. Varus takes off a hand, and just a barrage of blows as this thing is cut down by the overwhelming numbers of men. Head finally sheared across the brain, eye popping out.
I was about to say, take its head, take its head.
Solid swing horizontal. Varus cleaves the head from its shoulders. It goes sailing.
Now there's a trophy.
Now, do we I get a move? Because I would like a move. Okay.
You have a move, yeah.
Back up on the land, quickly, quickly! Do not want to be in the water where you probably can't see the rats very well.
Just make a
Oh no!
athletics
You slip
check
on
for
your
me.
ass into the shit
Oh,
water.
no.
Oh my god.
You
Oh
just
my
don't
God.
want a complication, put it that way.
Oh, my athletics is so.
This is the moment where he can spend as much doom as he wants to give you a disease. Basically, like, that's gonna be the moment where it's like, Urs fell in shit water on his last mission and got a lot of bad things from the water.
I'm gonna check. Okay, I can just check it myself. 5. Yeah, I'm gonna spend. I have to. I'll actually fuck this up. And
Okay.
Die. Okay, thank God.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. You got one. Holy shit, what is his...
Haroon
Is it 7?
Kagan.
It's 6.
Oh, it's... Oh my.
Yeah, I'm old, man.
I forgot it was that low.
Yeah, he's Danny Glover. If Danny Glover retired and then came out of retirement,
He's in his 50s. God.
Oh,
Getting too old for this shit.
that's great.
there is no getting. It's just I'm too old for this shit.
Alright, so Kagan and Haroon.
Oh, yeah.
I got a clusterfuck of people in front of me. Kagan would move and tell Hanwell to hold his ground and try to get his way past Haroon and then lend a hand down Tangwar up.
Yeah, Haroon kind of moves out of the way a bit so that he can, like, get up there as well. And he puts his shield kind of back up and grabs his torch off the ground so that he can, you know, keep the rats at bay, hopefully, when they come around.
That's a lot of rats this time, though.
I love a lot of rats.
They're back with a vengeance.
Haroon, what did you do? Just moved away?
He put his shield away and grabbed the torch and just stepped out of the way for Tangwar to get up.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna lean down and quickly take my arm. Try to get Tangwar up here with us.
He would go up there with you. He just says, "Do you think they cannot scale this?" He kind of comes up next to you. As you're kind of pondering that, the first swarm. Hold on, the computer's kind of froze on me here. Come on, roll 20, you can do it. It's being quite retarded. Oh, that's because I'm retarded. Sorry. Okay. The first swarm comes down, and who do they see? Melech.
Ow.
And they attempt to attack him. So... Okay, so they're attacking. Four successes.
Yeah.
We're at where if you want to parry, I think you have to give me a doom to do so, because you've parried twice already.
I find the concept of parrying that many rats kind of funny.
You just sweeping the sword through
What
him.
if
Yeah.
anyone can do it?
No, I don't want to give you any doom. So he's just kind of using the sword to the sword and the torch to kind of take wide swings at all the rats coming in towards him.
nasty little buggers, aren't they?
Ooh, that's persistent.
Yeah, I just saw that. I was like, oh. Ugh.
Takes 2 damage.
Oh,
that's
wait. What's persistent?
He would take 4 damage because it's persistent too, right? He'll suffer 4 dice. 4 damage. Yeah, 4 damage. Yeah, 4 damage dice each turn. Oh no! It's 2 damage dice for the next 2 turns because there was 2 effects.
Yep.
2 damage dice for 2 turns.
Yeah, persistent. So it's Yep. So 2. Yeah, if 1 or more effects are rolled, target will suffer X damage dice. So 2 damage dice at the start of each subsequent turns for rounds equal to the number of effects rolled, which would be 2. So 2 damage dice for the next 2 turns. So 4 total.
That's basically them swarming all over you, biting you in the face
And
the
bleeding.
exposed areas. Yeah.
Yeah, this is- Although you can, that's one of the ones you can avoid by adding Doom equal to the number of effects. So you could give him 2 Doom to ignore persistent.
My question is the damage itself the same as the bites, so would it theoretically be ongoing persistent? I think it's
no, it's
I think it's just straight up damage dice.
yeah, it's just the damage dice based on the yeah.
It's just straight up
That'd be really
damage.
shit.
So if it's straight up damage die, would my armor still block it?
Well, as much as armor would normally block.
Yeah, you'd
I don't
use
know.
you same rules for damage. Yeah, I'm assuming.
Oh, I don't know actually.
Technically, it could go on forever, right? It could go on forever, right?
Yeah,
I
if
could
you
keep
roll
rolling
more effects, it'll do more persistent.
And
Yeah. Each effect
Yeah.
rolled on the ongoing damage adds an
Yeah.
additional round.
Yeah, persistence nasty.
It can be avoided entirely by giving a number of points to 2 points of doom to get rid of it.
Yeah, 2 in this case.
I think I'd rather
give
give
him the
1 doom and parry.
Oh shit.
He did get 4 successes, so.
So I'm going to use 3 momentum.
Or you can attempt a clear action.
Mm-hmm.
Clear
3
action
momentum?
is a minor action.
Oh.
what does clear do?
Clear action is a minor action that removes ongoing afflictions.
Oh, it's
Oh, yeah.
already done.
Oh, okay.
5.
So he rolled, and it was tied.
Oh no, yeah.
Oh, let me look at his.
Oh,
Yeah,
with the
you're right. He
crack-
got
with the
5.
With a doom, yeah.
There's rats in your pants. That would be horrible. Oh my god.
I'll take the doom.
Thinking about rats.
I'll take the doom. So you generated 1 momentum.
So like I said, it just like
And you're able to
Light
fight these things off.
sweeping, strokes with the sword, and but the torch kind of just keeping them back. One comes up around my side, and I just kick it.
Yeah, it looks like in theory you could take it for a
Mhm.
minimum over one
Alright.
round, and then use a minor action to clear yourself of it.
These other rats come at Melech from the side, and they attack.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take that one.
Okay. So,
Oh yeah, so persistent isn't actually a condition. It's just one of the effects of the weapon. Because conditions are like blind, burning, dazed, etc.
Yeah, so quality.
yeah. I will spend a doom to give Doc staggered. It's one of the special things that I can do. Staggered means you have to pay a doom to do a standard action. So they're biting you, and it's not like all getting through your armor, but you feel just enough to make you start feel sick. It's very similar to
You gotta
when
think,
you
too,
were
each of the
poisoned.
swarms is a bunch of rats, so there's the sheer weight of it all would stagger you back
Yeah.
as you're constantly flailing and stuff. But yeah, looking at the persistent.
And then
I was saying,
more.
looking at the persistent effect,
go
the
ahead.
last part of it is if you don't cancel it automatically with Doom, what you can do is you can either wait for the duration to end, or you can take the clear action. When the clear action's a minor action, so your turn.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, whenever it's your turn, you can just spend a minor to clear yourself. So you wouldn't take any more persistent.
Oh yeah, it does. It's weird that they don't list it under
Right,
the
right.
conditions, but then they make an
Yeah,
exception there.
So I'll take that one.
Okay. Yeah, they aren't able to get through on that one. I'm gonna use some Doom here. I have status. Spend 2 Doom to bring out 4 more rats. These rats are coming from this way, like behind
question
Hinwell.
Is that the rats granting the
In the
ability
water.
to summon more, or is that the dead guy's ability?
No, that is my ability to use Doom. Now the double thing is a
Yeah,
rat's
I just
ability.
didn't know if the summoning was granted by the guy that's chopped up into pieces or not.
No.
I think he
All
just
right, you
kind of
guys are up.
called more of them as the main thing originally.
Rats are detecting a feeding frenzy, smelling the blood of a chopped up big guy.
Yeah, there's as at Melech's feet, some of the rats are like tearing into the body of the dead lycanthrope. As you notice, you look down. It's just a person now. You don't see some monster. You see a torn up, actually person being eaten. So it's unclear who it is, just with all the confusion. If you would have recognized him or
Rune
not,
is
but-
going to kind of zip around Henwell, and I will do Firebrand.
Oh, behind us.
Okay.
Survival. How much? Got 1. I will use it. 3.
Okay.
So 1 success. What is
Okay.
it's 3?
So roll your
Yeah,
whatever that.
Three and vicious one.
I think it's 3. Yeah.
3 and vicious. Alrighty. Aha! 6. Ooh.
That's enough. And they all just get like you wave your fire or your torch at them, and they flee
Kinda just roars out
back
and
into the
waves,
crags and
nice
the
low
little.
near 'em. One of them actually like catches and goes squirming into the water again. And,
I'm so used to different game mechanics. Attacking swarms, you actually attack them physically, or
They're in corporal 3, so keep that in mind. That's 3 difficulty out the gate. Or no, I'm sorry, 3 soak.
So it's kind of like the other game systems where
You can't attack them.
it's hard to kill them, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Just wave a torch at him. That seems to work the best.
It's pretty damn good.
yeah, my torch is on the.
Yeah, so is Melech's.
Move back that. Wait a minute here. He had to secure Hanwell first.
Yeah, because to get it would be a minor, and to move would be a minor. It wouldn't be able to do anything efficient. I will backpedal a little to where I can get a decent line of sight and fire a volley into
Okay.
the rats down here. Is there any momentum in the pool?
think I just used the last one.
Yeah, I will use.
I don't. Not much.
I will use my aim technique to
No.
draw a bead on him and put that as an extra
Okay.
die roll. And it would be a volley
Okay.
on top of that. So, yeah.
So another extra one, yeah.
So 3.
Okay.
I will reroll 1 damage die with my talent. 6. And there's no momentum to add. Or actually, I have those successes. I have, 2 successes?
Generated 2.
You generated them.
those-
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put
Yeah,
those 2,
you
so
generate
total of 8
2, yeah.
damage going into the swarm.
Alright, so that's 5 with their incorporeal. Kills one and does 2 damage to another.
Oh,
So you
oh,
just
oh,
shoot
I
into the
forgot
mass of
extra
rats and
damage
your
die,
arrows.
Polly.
Yep, go ahead.
Oh, it's irrelevant. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Yep, so you're just shooting into them, you're killing them by the droves, but it's,
Yeah.
there's just so many of them. Varus and Melech.
I have. One of my guys has a torch, right? Would he be able to
Yeah,
use that at my
mhm.
command?
He would be able to use it on your command,
tell
yep,
him to
but
give
he's
you the
rolling
torch.
his survival.
Well, the thing is, what's my survival? Because mine don't think that's great. Yeah, he might actually be better than me, as sad as that is.
His survival is 9.
What is it?
9.
It's better, isn't it?
It is.
Oh my.
It is. Yeah. Shit. You there? Wave the torch. Scare these rodents away.
Okay.
Loudly,
And he
loudly.
Waves the
Scream.
torch.
I like how he's coaching him to like do.
Ah! 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 I could scream just fine. He rolls 1 dice because he's a minion by himself. You keep that in mind too. You sure you don't want to
I'm rolling
roll
to beat
because he
6.
only rolls 1 die. as
Let's
a
see.
minion.
So odds on that. 2 6s. I mean, he's almost got a 50-50 chance. I think even me with a reroll.
I was
on
gonna
it
say,
is-
wouldn't he get the squad bonuses for having everybody else?
Or we could all go up there and yell. I don't
No, I don't think so.
yeah, his is.
All right, here goes 1 die
I
then.
think so.
Yeah, he's just not sure about getting close enough. He's screaming, but he might be screaming because he's scared, not because he's trying to be ferocious.
He dropped it.
Well, you had to sit it down at some
Why?
point
I
if you're
said I had
parrying
my
and
left hand, my
attacking.
sword in my right hand.
So how did you
using
parry
the
with
shield.
your shield that time for free?
He would have owed you a doom if he was, because he used a parry. You had a sword you parried once, and then there was a second parry attempt that you made. That
He is the talent that gives him.
Yeah, I have a talent that gives me a free parry.
Ah,
The
that's
sword
right.
was a parry.
2. Yeah, he did parry twice.
Yeah, yeah. I said. at the
Okay,
beginning, I have
then
my
you got it.
wrench in my torch in my left hand and my sword in my right hand.
I was gonna say, I know Haroon put his shield away to grab the torch for his.
Okay. You got to pay me a doom to use a standard action.
I'm going to
for
use
stagger.
a minor action to clear staggered.
Okay.
And then I still have a standard action.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to take my standard action and make my survival test.
Okay, that's you have 2 wounds, 2 mental wounds, so your difficulty is currently 3.
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, you're trying to get your torch up to like scare these things, but they're like literally crawling all over your body and having a hard time doing it. The top block of rats are going to attack the bite. If I can find, I'm actually person.
Dirty little bastards.
2 successes.
I will try and parry that.
Mm-hmm. You're able to parry it. So the second group goes. Three
I'll
successes.
try and parry that one.
And then I get a doom. So he's going to take 4 damage over 2 rounds. Is that correct?
He'll take the 4 damage from the attack, and then at the start of the next 2 rounds, he'll take 2 combat dice. Well, it's both
Well, yeah,
attacks.
he took 2
it's not
damage
vicious,
here,
yeah,
but yeah, there's no vicious. I'm going to spend a doom to give him staggered. Okay, and then you have 4 just do those turns. Okay, so 2 turns. Okay, so these 3 are going to attack as they're just trying to claw all over Melech. 3 dice.
Take it.
3 successes. Okay. So it's 1 effect roll. Yeah, so 3 instead of 2. Alright. Alright. Your guys' turn. Yeah, these rats are just all over you, biting you, just like you're covered in these rats right now.
Kind of dash up around.
Now, if Melech can take a minor action, he can clear himself of that persistent stuff, no problem.
Yeah. But yeah, so.
Yep, he can. Oh, but he has staggered too, right? So.
Yeah.
But he
so
can choose
Haroon
which
will
one.
hop down and rush over, and I will attempt to
that's a move.
One
I'd
goes
say
into one zone, right?
You're gonna try to flaming brand. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Go ahead.
And then survival. Alrighty. Yeah. And then it's
1 success.
Ooh, there we go. On the first group there. The again kind of shouts at them and brings the torch low
so that
over
one
them.
has. And 2 of them flee as the one remains. Alright. Varus or Kagan or Melech.
Kagan will do 2 minors. You will grab the torch in one hand and then move over.
Okay. All right.
No, good though.
Melech or Varus?
And he just kind of looks at the guy and screaming, "Fine, then we'll do it the old-fashioned way. With me. We're going back down."
Another athletics check.
All right. Nah. Yeah, they jump
We're gonna
down,
go
not
for
looking
the
too pleased
big
about it, but they do
bear.
it.
Try to do what we can to work that down,
Okay.
or at least generate some momentum. All right, lads.
Oh boy. All right, so they generated 3 momentum.
Let's re-roll 2 dice. See what we get. Shit.
With a momentum.
This isn't gonna do any goddamn damage.
Right now it will not. That's correct. Even with that vicious, it won't. Their soak is
we'll
3.
just suck and save momentum for people who can do stuff.
Okay, I'll take a
Melech,
minor
you're the
action
last
to
one.
clear staggered.
Okay.
And then
Done.
I will take a I will take another minor action to clear the persistent.
Okay. Does it clear the entire
If you read
thing,
the
or just one
persistent
round
part
worth,
of
or
it,
what?
It basically removes all the ongoing effects.
Okay.
This is basically,
Alright.
After he chooses to spend Doom to negate it, it can only be removed by waiting for the duration to end or by taking the clear action.
Okay.
So as long as all that was from
all right.
one mob. Yeah.
It was. Actually, no, there were 2 mobs. One added 1 round to it.
I guess technically that mob should have probably started its own.
Oh, okay.
So he'd have 1. He'd clear the one that was on for 2, and he stayed out the one.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Okay. Cool. All right. So new round. First thing we'll do is the damage on Doc if it gets anything, and then it'll be done.
Oh my.
4. Man, I don't under. I'm kind of curious, like how I think
don't
soak works in this.
know.
Would soak even
Because
do
there's no
anything? I
hit
don't know.
location on it. It's just you take X damage.
It states that you take damage dice, but I'm assuming that it doesn't say. To me, if you're taking damage dice, it would be resolved as a normal damage type, meaning that he would get armor.
Well, I mean, the problem is armor has hit location. And if persistent is like a condition, like that's what's used for poisons and stuff, is persistent. And it doesn't have a hit location. You just take X combat dice.
We'll just do this. So left leg, what's your armor on your left leg?
If it managed to bypass you initially, then yeah, anything that gets through would be ongoing, and it would ignore. That would be the most logistical understanding, because it's already technically the fact that he's taken the damage and it's inflicted persistent means that it got through his armor somehow. And it's like one of those things, don't let a wasp inside your suit of armor. It's just gonna sting the shit out of you because it's already gotten inside your armor.
Yeah, I'll let you soak up to half of it. Like, whatever your normal soak is, just
Okay,
kind
well,
of...
my normal soak is 3.
Okay, we'll just give you 1 soak of it, so it'll take 3. Okay. And then that goes away. Alright. This rat swarm and toppers, they have lunch right there. They're not going to stop, so they keep trying to go at Melech, trying to bite him. There's 4 of them. You get a momentum from that.
Yeah, of course, he's going to try and parry that.
Yep. You do. You gain 3 momentum from that. That puts you at 6.
Getting kind of tired of this, so he's going to give you the doom, and he's going to counterattack. And he's going to take a swing. They're kind of like swarming all around, and he's flailing and waving his torch around, and finally he just takes a swing with his broadsword in a huge arc right through what feels or looks like the center of this mass of rats. And he's going to use 3 momentum for that.
Okay. So you get 2 momentum back. 4 damage.
And
Currently.
I will use a momentum to re-roll the missed combat die. There's 4 of them.
Okay.
You got a fan blowing on, Kira?
And
So
I
put
will
you at
use
5.
2 momentum to take that to 7.
Is anyone else here that when buffeting this on it? Yeah, it's on it. So Curious is
I do.
Yeah,
There's like a...
What is it? It's noise?
It's, yeah, it sounds like a buffeting, almost like a fan oscillating. Goes.
Let me see.
Alright, so you kill 1 of them. As you did 7 minus 3, 4, that bleeds over. So, okay. So that was a riposte. So the second horde actually goes after Varus
Is my
and his
movement clear
boys.
now?
And actually, yeah, it sounds better. This rat swarm actually joins this mob as a minor action. And so they attack Varus with a 5 dice.
Man.
Oh my
Living a
gosh.
charmed life.
Yeah, they're trying to get, and they just can't get past your torch. They're like scared to get too close.
Too, isn't it?
Yeah, I gave it to you. Yep. Let me see something here. Let me look. Yeah, I'm gonna spend 2 doom. And the rats that Haroon had scared away are back, as there's no more light there anymore.
Well, Hearn's gotta go.
All right, it's
Gotta
you
go
guys'
back over there
turn.
and deal with that.
And Kagan's gonna step forward on these down here,
I'll use
and yeah, gonna spend a momentum too to do a brandish the flame.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do Haroon first. So plus
Vicious
2
Lift, 4
momentum.
men.
Damage dice. 4. Okay. Let me... What the hell on, dude? 4, so that's...
Zol.
4 will kill them all, I believe. Let me look, make sure. Yeah. No. It's weird. Kills 2 of them. So 2 of them run away, 2 of the swarms, but leaves 2 left. Okay. Kagan, you want to go?
Yeah, I'm spending 1 on the attack.
You have 6 momentum in the pool right now. Okay. So you would be at 7 technically.
I will spend 1 to reroll 2 of those dice.
Mm-hmm.
4 damage. I will
4
then
damage.
put 2 more points to bump it up to 6. That should hopefully get rid of that squad of 3.
6 damage. It does.
Go Pirates of Darkwater on them.
They all
Norwegian
flee.
Tut. Back, I say. Back, you beast. Thank you for protecting my brother.
Okay. Yeah. Melech, you're up.
Melech is gonna take a swing at these guys. He's just trying to chop down
Okay.
into this roiling mass of fur. He's gonna use 2 momentum.
Okay. Okay, so you're 3
And
momentum
I
you
will
gained.
use 1 momentum to reroll 3 of those damage die.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly hear a Meatloaf song coming at the end of all this. Like, I'll do it. I'll do anything to retake my city. I'll
7.
do anything but that.
And then I will pump that up with 2 more momentum.
Nine. Okay.
So there's just a thick ball of rats there, and he finds the heart of it and just starts hacking down into it.
So, okay. So that would be. That kills 2 of them. Varus, I think you're up.
We're not done yet, lads. Back to it.
I was about to say, you even sound like an old man.
It's because I am. Not too old. Oh, baby.
That was good.
No.
6, 5 momentum.
What? I can look at the pool. 7. Jesus.
That's 8 damage with Bishop.
Let's let's do some. We could probably do
Yeah,
some
you already have
pumping.
8 damage.
I'll pump
Those
2 into 10.
Plenty of momentum right now.
Yeah. 2 into 10. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so 10. Let's see it.
1 harm would become 2.
Yeah.
But it's only against the first target. I can't remember.
Yeah. Kill 2 of them
Yes, so we're just
with your battle axe, and
the rats
everybody
are
is
swarming
stabbing.
Us. We're swarming the rats. We're going right back with they're swinging wildly. They're not protecting themselves. They're not real enemies, so it's just like chopping weeds.
This was just like 2 minutes into the. We'll go this way. Oh, rats. No, don't have to worry about that. Scared them off. Oh, rats.
Uh-oh. Here's the scary part is
And they attack Haroon. 2 dice. I have no doom.
yeah, I've got armor.
1 success.
So I've got what is that?
There isn't a
Yeah,
effect
I've
on
got
that.
2 armor, so you wouldn't actually take any.
Get persistent.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, would persistent trigger if I don't actually take any damage from it, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an
Okay,
effect.
cool. Yeah.
That's the way I did it on Doc.
1.
So how many effects did I roll?
Solid.
1. So you gotta.
Actually, you know what? I have parrying on my dagger, so I can actually give it a go. It got 1 success, right? Let's see if he's mad.
Equal reach, too.
Yep.
Butter knife versus
Yeah.
teeth.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, so he manages to.
Yeah,
Some of them
there's
get up
a-
onto his arm, and he manages to sweep them off.
Flicking them off like leeches.
Yeah.
Get off of me.
This rat attacks Varus, or tries to.
No, there's no persistent on that. I can probably just eat it, but I'll try to parry for fun.
You can do it. You did it.
Two momentum, which you're gonna get a waste because
Oh well.
you're at your cap. So as you kind of are sitting here beating off these rats, you kill enough of them, or they begin to flee into the. They don't look like they have any more food left. Looks like that. That's not going to be a good meal for them, leaving you alone here. And the aftermath of so much gore.
Yeah. Yeah, Haroon steps up and shakes his legs off, getting all the murky shit water off of them as much as possible.
Yeah, Melech steps up finally. And gets in there, gets up on the platform. He's cleaning blood and fur, grime and muck off of his sword.
Haroon beckons and well to follow with us closely this time.
Yeah, he
Tribal
Yes,
chieftain.
that's
My
close,
ass.
yeah.
You don't do that but sit in the corner.
Melech, that was a close call for you. How do you fare?
Well, I've got a couple of scratches on me. I don't think they've done much else other than that. The beast was more formidable, but even he fell to our blades. I think if we have to worry about anything in here, it's going to be more beasts, not those rats.
I suppose. Though I suppose we could look at it as a good sign, things to come. Oh, we have killed the beast, after all.
Yeah, speaking of which, Kagan will actually go into the gunk and try to fish as much as the body as he can out.
Oh, it's a total ruin. The rats have eaten most of it, and it's just barely flesh on
We're
bone.
hyena rats.
Besides the head that you guys have collected.
Pick the head up and look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I would more than anything as try to get rid of it and burn
It's
it.
probably a human head now, right?
I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
It
Dude,
is
the
a
beast
human.
was truly that, a
It is
cursed
that.
beast.
Well, now it is a dead cursed beast.
The one thing that's
What?
You see this face staring back at you. This is the priestess that had previously been attending the Solomon.
Ooh, bet she killed him.
She said mistress.
Her words spoke out mistress. The mistress. Did the lady send more in? Who is the lady?
That is the words for the others as well. Is it not? And their leader.
The church knew about this then?
Perhaps. Perhaps it is not what Ishtar that they worship.
I'm in support the
I was gonna say, would it be
The current
reasonable for
ruler?
Haroon to know about Yebal Sag from his time in the Black Kingdom?
There is one that was talked about.
Sure.
To the south. The lands of Punt and all. Hebal Sak, I think it was. Lord of Beasts, if I remember. It does sound somewhat similar. But it is most odd. I would not normally expect such things. City.
Yes, well, all of that will be interesting to look into once we are out of here. But right now, we still have a job to do. Once those gates are open, we can research this further.
We would do well to wash off once we get to the surface.
So as you are standing there, you kind of notice maybe ambient light coming from the south.
Haroon,
Move to the north.
Some sort
No
of
more
light.
surprises,
Doesn't look
just
like
move
torchlight,
forward.
but something faint.
Someone get me a
So-
sack for this head.
Well, wait. So it was ambient light to the south. You said. Does it look like natural light? You said it wasn't like torch.
Yeah, south. Down this way.
Yeah, Haroon.
Yeah. Basically natural light. You're thinking.
That's off
Not-
that
not-
way as well.
Not very bright.
Taking a look.
And Melech just walks down into the muck and starts walking that way.
As you keep getting closer and closer, it gets brighter and brighter. It's kind of coming. Just
How do we recover stuff?
just,
Does that take
yeah.
time, or is that after battles? Or...
vigor and
Automatically,
resolve
okay,
loss
cool.
is automatically recovered after battle.
Okay, so I go back up.
Wounds stay with you
Oh, so I
throughout.
can recover that too.
until you actually can heal. No. You have to. Wounds of any type have to be actually healed in some manner.
Yeah,
However, that
It
would
takes
be.
a bit.
Really?
So I take it these are...
And this is the home stretch, so we're not going to be. I mean, unless you can actually
I
find
like
somebody
how
to do
Haroon
it.
just said it takes a bit. He was near dead and had 4 wounds on him.
Oh,
but,
he still has those. They're treated. if he takes one wound, he literally dies.
Yeah. He still
He
has.
is literally on the brink of death. If a single thing hits him for 5 damage, he is fucked. Literally. They all come back and it adds to the total, which would be 5, which is death.
You
Yeah. Yeah, that's the trick, is you can treat them, but it takes quite a while for them to actually heal.
So my resolve goes back. No.
Yeah, you should go back to resolve and vigor. Go back to max. You come out of this alleyway. Essentially, you notice that there is like you kind of have to crawl up this kind of slick part of this drainage ditch on your hands and knees. There's no other way to get up there. And so you come out into this alleyway that is just covered in filth. Melech realizes this is a place next to Beggar's Row. By when he looks around after a bit, and I'll give you some final role play before we close out the session.
Well then,
Melech looks around and recognizes the area. He's astonished that he never knew that there was a passageway leading from Beggar's Row outside the gates. Wonders what kinds of things have passed through there. Illicit goods, black market items. But he looks around and he's kind of covered in filth from, the legs down. And he takes a deep sigh of relief, realizing he's inside the city. We are here. We are inside the city. This is Beggar's Row. You have all been here before.
we had best find somewhere to wash off. I imagine guards would find it most suspicious for someone with armor such as ours to be walking around covered in shit.
Definitely would want to downplay these soldiers as well. Quickly remove your gambesons.
Nothing.
They
Melech looks
nod
over
and
to
begin
Harun.
to strip.
Don't you know a tailor?
In fact, I do. You are clever. Well, let us pay them a visit. And I'm sure there are some less sordid waters on the... Someone must have a wash bin.
Varus, last words to you.
Let's try to remain as inconspicuous as we can. Get that gate open. And let's get paid.
And with that, session ends.